What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the latest episode of The Layup.Line. My name is Dolos, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe for more NBA videos like this one. You can also find me on a few social media platforms for inside looks at upcoming videos, as well as reactions to live games or transactions. Today, I am back with my OKC The Timeline series to talk about Aleksej Pokusevski. If you missed my last video, go ahead and check it out. I gave my quarter of the season take on the Thunder and discussed some of the key figures of this roster. In that video, I also mentioned that I would be willing to do an entire video on Poku if people wanted that, and the video ended up with a bunch of likes and comments to do a Poku video, so here we are. Honestly, maybe even more than Shea or Giddy, I am fascinated by Aleksej Pokusevski. I'm more of an OKC enjoyer than a diehard Thunder fan, so when I see comments like these from Thunder fans comparing Poku to Giannis or even Magic Johnson, I genuinely wonder if this is playful wishful thinking about an interesting project player on this rebuilding team, or if there are people out there that see Poku as a future All-NBA kind of player. Since he came into the league, I haven't necessarily been a Poku believer, and I really would like to be. People seem to really have confidence in what he can become, despite the fact he has genuinely needed G League minutes back-to-back years in order to get his reps. And they still believe in him despite some disastrous looking numbers when he has played in the NBA. So I decided I was going to take a look at Poku's game log, find his top 3 games and minutes played this season, and rewatch all 3 of them, laser focused only on Poku each possession. And honestly, my first and maybe biggest takeaway is he spends an awful lot of time spaced out to the corner or on the wing off ball. This is an off ball assignment for spacing big man, and at his 21% on 2 attempts from 3, Poku isn't that. It only rises up to 25% from the corner, which results in a lot of possessions where Poku does the right thing, tries to keep moving, will screen off ball, and he relocates, but ultimately defenses are sagging off of him and clogging up the paint. Another issue is that he gets good shot quality on these threes and has not hit with any consistency. 29% on catch and shoot per NBA.com, 23% from 3 when he is wide open, meaning the defender is 6 feet plus away. That drops to 20% when he is just open and the defender is 4 to 6 feet away. And if the defender is any closer than that, he's smartly passing out of it or the shot is missing altogether. Poku was 3 for 11 in the 3 games that I watched. It's clear the team is using him like this purposely, and they're asking him to take these shots in the flow of the offense or as his screen and fade situation. But at the moment, it's bad offense, and those numbers need to drastically improve to reach his supporters' lofty expectations. It wasn't all negative by any means. Poku is creative with the ball in his hand, which is a large reason he's become such a fan favorite. Teammates need to be ready for a pass at any point, and he can be surprisingly accurate with them. His highlight reels are littered with nice passes, and he has such a good feel for not letting the ball stick in his hands. The passing ability just allows the Thunder to let Poku push the ball off a rebound and maybe even come up with a highlight pass in transition. Poku can also move it well on the half court, even if I don't think his best role should be as the primary creator. As the secondary creator, he can attack off handoffs and do well with give and goes. He has been building very good off-ball habits, and because of that, OKC can occasionally punish defenses that sag off of him. Ultimately, Poku managing to gain some scoring gravity will be necessary to take that next step, because if defenses are sagging off of him from 3 and playing him for the pass on drives where he can't punish them, I don't think Poku sticks in the NBA regardless of how great his passes are. Another skill he could improve to help him stick is the defense. I will admit that I was genuinely surprised by how hard he competes on that end for a guy that looks the way that Aleksej Pokusevski does. It's very easy to assume that he's just bad on that end, and I do have some clips of those struggles, but I was shocked by how many clips I ended up with of good defensive awareness and effort. OKC is usually in his zone, at least when Poku plays, but I love his awareness in moving around it. I think some of his strong showings defensively are linked to the good team defense of the Thunder. He's best as a help defender where he can be a large obstacle between offensive players in the basket. I do think with more experience and filling out his body, Poku can be a neutral to helpful player defensively, but also shout out to the coaching staff because I think they've done a hell of a job drilling him on where he needs to go in rotations. He can still lose size and strength battles, but if he's making players shoot over his long contested hand, you take that every time. He's also a big still, so there will be problems when really good ball handlers get him switched out on the perimeter. He does also have some issues dealing with screens, and that's one way offenses can go at Poku. I think it will always be important to have good defensive structure on the roster with Pokusevski, but he can be a deterrent in his own right if he manages to make the most of his size. For as much as I do like his defensive awareness, he's certainly not a finished product. Good teams can and will pick him out and make him fight through screens or play in space against tricky ball handlers, but when he has support and communication from the rest of the roster, it doesn't kill you to play him defensively. Truthfully, what's really been bad is the offense. You can see OKC trying to figure out how to best utilize his unique talents, but I came away from this breakdown still unsure about Poku. Positionally, he is a wing that wants to be a guard, but has also had a growth spurt, so he's the size of a big, which makes him prone to the shortcomings of the so-called unicorn types of players that we have seen come into the league at the 4. Kristaps Porzingis is one of the faces of this kind of archetype, and we've seen even him struggle to find a role outside of just being a spot-up shooter. Poku is a project player, so there has to be patience regarding his development, but he's already given me some vibes of a former supposed unicorn in Dragon Bender, who was a bad to meh defensive big who actually sorta did the 3-point spacing thing, and even he couldn't stick. With the number of draft picks at Sam Presti's disposal, Poku was a high reward, low risk draft selection. Hard to say it's working out so far given the number of solid players taken after him, but 76 games is way too early to give up. I'd just like to see his 3-point shooting get to 30%, maybe a chance to see more of his creation skills to determine how high the peak is for him as a shot creator. I felt like I was overall very negative in this, but sadly that's just where I land on Poku at this point. I just don't see the high potential future All-NBA player some of you may see in him. And like I said, I would love to be convinced. If you have a solid argument for why I should believe in Poku, specific games you want me to go back and watch, or interesting stats I may not know, please leave them in the comments. If there's a strong response, maybe I could even do a part 2 reacting to some of your takes. Until then, that's all I have for you in this one. I really appreciate it if you made it to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and enjoy the rest of your day.